We're getting all hoppy. So, up today, hey, this is Brian Lape, Cincinnati Craft Beer Examiner. Up today with the dogs wandering about is Hop Bomber by Rivertown. This is a pale ale. It's really nice. Named after B-52 Liberator, B-24 Liberator. It's a nice hoppy beer. Not overly hoppy. It's not their pale. They do have an IPA. In fact, I had some of this on IPA day and then realized it's not an IPA, and I did get credit. So, you know, take it or leave it. So, using some caramel malt there, as you can see in the coloring, and I believe rye malt as well. Yep, and you can really smell that nice citrusy hops, probably American varieties. So unfortunately, it's really small. It's a dry hopped with two American varieties. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. So you can really tell. Some people ask me, how can you tell if a beer is dry hopped as opposed to just a hoppy beer, or they put the hops in the boil? And that is the dry hopping. It's kind of weird, but it actually adds a bit of a dryness feel to the hop. So it's the alcohol that's in the beer that's after fermentation. They put in secondary. They put hops, usually whole hops, not pellets, and the alcohol pulls the hoppiness out, pulls the oils, what we would consider the hoppy flavors and the hoppy aromas. And so they taste a little fresher, and they don't. It's just not been cooked. It's hard to describe, I guess, is the problem. So it's quite good. You get a nice mixture of the rye with the rye malt with the hops, kind of mid-mouth. It's fairly bitter. This beer's been sitting out, it's sweating a little bit. It's been sitting out for about 5 or 6 minutes. So it's still a little cold, actually. Because what you don't have, this beer has a heavy malt backbone. Hey Toby, do you have to keep walking around? And I don't know what the APV of this thing is. I don't know if, yeah, it's 5.5%. So it's no slouch. It's a nice, best served 50 degrees. And this is not at 50 degrees yet. So when it's cold like this, the malt hasn't come up to meet with the hops. So all you're really getting is the hop bitterness and some of the aroma. As it warms up, the hop aroma will actually come up a bit more. Now, so the rye is starting to come to attention there as it warms up. Some people have, want to know, okay, food pairings with this. What's interesting about this one is the citrus is a little toned down, and the hops kind of linger and they're kind of bitter in the back of the throat. I actually, believe it or not, now some people are going to say you're stuck on a theme, but I get the sense of eating this with a Portabella mushroom cheeseburger. And by what I mean is that there's no bun. The mushroom is the bun. I mean, a big thing. I don't even know if they exist, but that bitterness would draw out well with a mushroom. You could also do, and I'm not a big pasta person, but I could also do angel hair pasta with a tomato sauce base and shrimp. Not sweet, kind of a little bit of, quite a bit of basil and other Italian spices. And real Parmesan cheese, grated, not the crushed stuff, but a block of cheese grated over it. I would do with that. So I'd have shrimp actually in a white wine sauce. Would be fried in white wine and then put into the red sauce. Red sauce would be medium spiciness. It's going to have a little bit of red pepper in it, not sweet, no sugar. Chopped mushrooms and onions. And then for more of someone who wants to do more fish as opposed to shellfish, you can continue that theme. Could say have a baked cod with some of the same spices. I would put over that. I would brush it with olive oil and do some red pepper, basil, thyme, oregano, perhaps definitely squeeze lemon juice over it once it was done, but I wouldn't do it until it was cooked. But again, what you don't want is something sweet. So you wouldn't have salmon with encrusted with brown sugar and hot spices, because the sweetness is just going to be too much. What will happen is the bitterness and the sweetness are too combative, and this beer, it will just seem to get really bitter, and what you're eating will seem to get really sweet. So you want something that's kind of in the middle and help pull the flavors back together. So, but yeah, the rye's starting to come up really nicely. That's really good beer. So as is we do here, we go to Untappd. This is a beer I've had before. I have given it a 4 out of 5 previously, and we'll do the same thing. I'm going to put in a note that I'm shooting a review so people know when this happens. We'll put it on Twitter, and there we go. For those of you who want to find me on Untappd, it's Brainmuffin, Brainmuffin. I'll put it in the description below as well. I know a lot of people follow me, and that's great. Get to see good ideas of what people are doing. We'll do some of those suggestions as well. Liechtenstein Pale Ale, that's very interesting. So this is a very good all-round beer. It's a little bit bitter to be a session beer, but if you're into fairly bitter beers and fairly hoppy beers, then this could be a good session beer just to have with some cheese, some mild cheese, and perhaps some pretzels, that type of thing, bread, to kind of just wash the palate off. But all right, as always, thank you for stopping by and enjoy. Cheers.